Hey, it's Mark with Mark's Virtual Real Estate Channel. We're back with another Upland video, and today I'm talking about inflation and the state of Upland right now. I think there's a lot of bad information out there about inflation, what inflation really is, and some of it has been kind of come from Upland itself when they're trying to get that vote passed a couple months ago for changing how the community pool and UPEX and all that is done. I think Upland created this idea of what inflation is that is completely wrong from what inflation really is. So we'll talk about that and some other things Upland did that would kind of counteract what they said about inflation before. So love the likes, love the comments, love the shares, love seeing new subscribers as well. I have quite a few videos on Upland mostly, and I do have a real estate channel as well, Mark Ferguson Invest for More, that shows all of my real life real estate investments. All right, so Upland is a virtual real estate game where you can buy properties, build on them, rent them, do all kinds of fun stuff. They have new city releases all the time, and so those are fun. This is Buenos Aires, where I've actually done pretty well. This was a good release for me. I did well in the Thrifty Trader. I've sold quite a few of my properties. I still have some left. Definitely made a decent amount of money here. And in fact, Upland in general, I think, has seen maybe prices increase a little bit, more activity, more sales, and I think that's a good thing. I think the FIFA challenge, which was the soccer challenge, really took away from the property side of Upland, was a distraction. And I mean, the reason I play Upland is for the properties and building and different things, not for soccer or football challenges, depending on where you are in the world. So hopefully it goes back to more about properties and not other challenges and different things going on. But having said that, I don't study Upland's videos. I don't study their Discord. I don't study all their live streams and all of that stuff. I get a lot of my information about what Upland is saying from our Lazy Node community. So we have a couple of lazy nodes in Neponset and Henry Ford and Kokota and Rio a little bit. And those were just communities we put together around my YouTube channel. And we have a Discord. Anybody's welcome to join. And basically, we just try and build up the neighborhoods, make them fun, make them cool. And on our Discord, there's quite a few people who pay way more attention to what Upland says, the inside, outsides of the community, than I have time to do, because I'm doing all kinds of other stuff in real estate. I don't have time to spend too much effort going into all the ins and outs of Upland. But I think that also gives me a good perspective of what people are understanding or getting from Upland, even though maybe Upland's trying to say different stuff. Who knows? But it's nice to hear that perspective and see what they're saying. And so a couple months ago, they had that vote where they wanted to change the community pool from, what was it, having it separate, where they had the one pool that goes into fees for traveling and rent, all that stuff, and a new UPEX pool. I forget all the details. I did a video on it before. But the main point is, from what I heard, they said they needed to combine the two, and one of the reasons was inflation was out of control in Upland. And then other people started saying there's hyperinflation. People have commented on my videos saying, oh, there's hyperinflation. And when I tell them no, there's not inflation in Upland, they tell me I must not have any real estate. I don't know what I'm talking about. Go take a finance class. And I don't, want to be too much of a braggart here, but I have a business finance degree. I've taken plenty of economics classes, and I actually own about $22 million in real estate right now. So I do know a little bit about real estate and inflation. And I think it's important for people to understand what inflation is, how it works, and the more you know about economics and inflation, the more you can understand how different decisions from Upland or votes will affect you, and how the ongoing economy of Upland will work as well. So, first off, what I want to do, I'm just going to open a tab on Google and just click what is inflation, so we can get a basis of what inflation really is, because I think a lot of people have a vast misunderstanding of what inflation is. So I haven't looked to see what these results are before. It's a good thing to know, though, that Google will customize their search results to you. So if you do this on your own browser, they'll probably give you completely different sites based on your browsing history and everything Google knows about you and what they think you might like. Just like on social media and Facebook and Instagram, they'll all give you the posts they think you'll like, not just what they give everyone. So Investopedia, that's a pretty good site. I've been there before. I have lots of different views on inflation too, from the federal what the federal government's doing, which I talk about on my other channel. I won't get too in depth on that. But basically, inflation. Here we go. Very simple. A rise in prices, which can be translated as a decline of purchasing power over time. So what does that mean? It's very simple. It means prices are going up. We see it today in most of the world. Inflation is going up. A lot of it, I believe, was caused by COVID shutdowns and then tons of money dumped into the system to help people while things were shut down. People had free money, and there was a limited supply of goods being made because the country was shut down, the world was shut down for a while. And the world is a very efficient marketplace, right? You can't make too much stuff, you can't make too little. There's tons of competition. Companies learn how to make things, manufacture things, build things so that they can make money. But if they start making too much money, more competition will come in, lower prices, and it's a very competitive world. And so when you disrupt things, when governments come in and say you can't be open, you can't build things, you can't do this stuff, it disrupts all of that. And it's not as simple as, no, I don't want to do that right now, sorry. It's not as simple as just opening things back up and say, okay, go back to normal, it's all good. You've got this disruption for months at a time, which messes up things for a very long time. And we've seen that in supply chain issues, vehicles, building supplies, toilet paper, everything, food, kind of got disrupted. And we're slowly getting back to normal now. Almost 3 years later, which is crazy, but it's taken that long to get back to normal. And when you have limited supply, when you have too little of something, a lot of times prices go up. And then if you have too much money, if you've got too much demand for something, sometimes prices go up. So if I'm selling 100 widgets and I have 1,000 people who want to buy those 100 widgets, I have a couple of options. One, I could keep my prices the same and try to increase supply, try to hire more people, build more buildings, buy more supplies to make more products, and make 1,000 widgets. I can try to do that, just ramp everything up, go gung-ho. Or I can keep things the way they are and just jump my prices up. Be like, okay, I have 1,000 people who want to buy this at $10. Well, maybe there's 200 people who want to buy it at $15. Let's do that. And at the same time, even though that seems like it's price gouging because I just bumped up my prices, well, if I'm bumping up my prices, there's a good chance wages are going up. There's a good chance my suppliers are bumping up their prices too. There's a good chance all kinds of other things are going up. So even though I bump my prices up, that's not all pure profit. All my costs go up as well. And I see that in my personal businesses I own. You see that in businesses all over the world. That's how inflation works. And even the federal government right now in the U.S., which is very liberal government, has come out and said one of their key indications of inflation and how well it's going to do are wages. If wages keep going up, they think inflation is going to keep going up. So it's a double-edged sword. Everybody wants higher wages. You want higher wages, it's probably going to cause higher inflation. But nobody wants higher inflation because they can't afford as much, so they want to drive down inflation. They often do that by increasing interest rates. You increase interest rates, it decreases demand, it makes businesses not do as well. That stops wages from going up. So there's not like this magical world where wages can go up and inflation can stay way down. They kind of work and intertwine together. And that's why I'm a huge believer in the free market and letting it figure out itself, because it usually works much better than the government trying to come in here and tell everyone what to do based on theory and not real life. So there. Sorry, that was quite a tangent based on inflation. But basically, what I want to say is that inflation is the price of goods or services increasing, right? And if we go to Upland, I think pretty much everyone can tell you prices have not been increasing, maybe a little bit lately, but for the most part, over the last year, prices have been decreasing. That is deflation. The same product, the same amount of that product. It's like, a house I bought 10 months ago going from 200,000 to 180,000. That's a decrease in price. That's what Upland's doing right now. That's deflation. That is not inflation. Inflation is the same product going up in price. If you have bread, the same amount of bread, The same slices, the same ingredients, the same company, and that cost $4 last year, and now it costs $5. That is inflation. That is prices going up. Now, a lot of people have told me, no, inflation is just an increase in money supply. That is not true. An increase in money supply can cause inflation, right? If people have lots and lots of money, there's a chance they can pay more for goods. They might increase demand. It might cause prices to go up because of that supply issue we talked about. However, that is not inflation in itself. And so Upland, before, from everything I heard and the gist of what their argument was that Upland has lots of inflation because there's too much UPEX, there's too much money in the system. But that's not true. There is too much money does not cause inflation. Sorry, I said it wrong. Too much money is not inflation. Too much money can cause inflation, yes, but it is not inflation in itself. Just like we're seeing in Upland right now. If there was too much money, too much UPEX, and prices were shooting up, yes, that would be inflation. Too much money and prices are not shooting down, but staying steady or dropping, that's not inflation. So this argument that there's hyperinflation in Upland is wrong. It's not true. That is not inflation. That's not how inflation works. There's actually the opposite of inflation right now. And so one other point, as you can see how beautiful Napontet looks right now, that I wanted to bring up in regards to this is Upland came out with I don't know if it's a new policy or one they've had before, but they reiterated it. I don't know if I can find it. If it was a news article, we'll try and search here while I talk. Or if it was just one of those bulletins they put up, saying it is prohibited for users to buy UPEX from each other. Even though they just made it they made it a big thing where people are allowed to transfer UPEX to each other. Then they came out and said, well, you can't buy UPEX from each other, which seems kind of weird. Again, kind of limiting a free market. Let's see if I can find that. I don't know if it will be on here, but we'll keep trying. And so again, my idea of government limiting things. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying everything should be free for all and you can go around and do whatever you want. I think some government limitations need to be in place. Monopolies, price fixing, price gouging, I think are legitimate concerns. But there should be very limited government interaction in extreme cases, is my thoughts, which has been how the United States has operated for the most part for many years, although it's getting worse and worse. And ironically, the more government intervention there is to lower prices or control those things, usually the higher prices get, especially in real estate. So anyway, let's keep looking here for just a second and see if I can find, I don't know if there was an actual article about it. I think it was just a bulletin. So this may be a very unfruitful time waster, but that's okay. I'll just look at one more page, but I can keep talking while I'm talking about it. And yeah, I don't think I see it here, so that would have been before that. So anyway, what they're saying is they don't want me going to Sammy Builds a Lot, paying him $100 USD, and then getting 2,000 UPEX from him. They say that's illegal. What's really ironic about that and completely against what they've been saying, unless I'm wrong and they didn't say inflation was an issue, but that's the gist of what everybody has told me, that's causing more money to go into the system. They want you to buy UPEX from them. They want you to spend that $100 and buy UPEX directly from them, which increases the UPEX supply. If you're able to buy UPEX that's already been minted or created or whatever, that keeps the supply lower. So if they're really worried about the supply of UPEX being too high, why in the world would they limit people from buying UPEX from each other, unless really their only goal is just because they want to make more money, and that's their main goal. And there's nothing wrong with making money. I have no problem with Upland trying to make money. They spent tons of time and development on this, game/investment that so many of us like to play. That's fine, but let's just be honest about inflation and what your real goals are here. And the whole misconstrued idea of what inflation was before brings a lot of questions of, like, do they not understand inflation themselves, or were they just saying that to try and get people to vote for them for this issue that doesn't exist? And I talked about that in my videos before about the vote. I voted no because I saw no problem, right? It's like you're trying to solve a problem that doesn't exist before it happens, and that is a government line of thinking as well that rarely works out well, making up problems to solve so that you can stay relevant, or because you've got ulterior motives. So I'm not trying to be a conspiracy theorist. I'm not trying to say Upland is horrible or going downhill or anything like that. I'm just bringing my perspective as a real estate investor involved in a lot of finance, a lot of different things. I've studied a lot of economics and different things, and I wanted to talk about this inflation thing because it's been bothering me how many people tell me Upland is in hyperinflation mode when it's not at all. Now, if all the prices start jumping up, then we're talking about hyperinflation mode. And people who own real estate, who own properties, hyperinflation is a very good thing. If you own properties, like, that's massive increases in value, especially in real life where a lot of us use leverage, makes your loans worth less, your property's worth more. Hyperinflation can be very good for real estate investors. So in a real estate game, if you do have hyperinflation, I mean, it's not the best thing in the world for new players, people trying to get started. But for those already in it, it's not a bad thing at all. And it can really keep people interested in the game too. We see it all the time with crypto and stocks and Upland. People really get interested in things. You get new players, you get new people involved when that stuff is doing really well, when prices are going up, when things are exciting, when people are making money. That's when the most excitement is, the most people come into the game, and you can add more people. And I think that's the goal of Upland, is to add more people, have more interaction, get the name out there more. And so really, I would think having prices steadily increase, keep going up, is how the real estate world works. Should be a goal of theirs and something they want to happen, when in fact, they've kind of come out and said we want to stop lower prices in some areas like Manhattan and New York. And like, why would you want to lower prices? That's the market has spoken that's a very popular place. That's where the most expensive properties are. Why would you want to try and alter the market with different weird policies and different stuff? You can't, like, it seems weird they're trying to form the market to what their opinion is instead of just letting it be its own free market and do what it likes. They have a lot of power with new releases and pricing and different things they do there. And the last releases have been better, I think, than Los Angeles and some others. But there's still a lot of concern about why they're so worried about prices going up and different things, and saying there's inflation when there's not. And we'll see. I'm still having fun. I still like our lazy nodes. They're doing fantastic. Let's see. I wonder what prices are doing here. I haven't checked for a couple days since we did our last contest. Again, there's some cheap stuff in Henry Ford with structures on them. And this one you can't build on, so that's kind of holding our floor down. And let's see what Queens is real quick. But yeah, I'd love to hear what you guys think, comments, concerns. I know some of you disagree with me on inflation, but it's very cut and dry what inflation is. It's not an increase in money supply. It is prices going up. We've got one under 60, but the pounds, it's doing fantastic. So anyway, I think I've rambled on for long enough. I want to give my take on inflation, some different issues in Upland, the current economic state. Honestly, I think Upland is still fun. It's still a good game. If they keep the city releases small, they keep prices reasonable, they give players a chance to, make money, flip properties, increase the value of their accounts on their own, that's great. I think if Upland starts to think, we need to make all the money ourselves, we want to price things at exactly what their value is and give players no chance for appreciation or flipping, what's the point of us playing, right? Most of us here aren't playing to buy a property and hope it increases 3% a year in 10 years, or that we get 11% return on UPEX over 10 years. That's not why people are playing, for the most part. There might be some doing that, but a lot of us who are playing and active are trying to flip, make money, make profits, and the more Upland supports that, I think the better the game will do. All right, thanks for watching. Love to hear what you think. Be back with more videos here soon.